Five, 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 four, 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 three, 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 two, 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 one, one, one. Hi. No, my God, you ruined my start. Wow.
Because you sounded like Count from Sesame Street doing your countdown.
Well, I guess we have our intro again of us being stupid.
Please cut this from the final edit.
You're something beautiful, electrochemical.
Anyways, welcome to the Apollo Studios / New Hope Q&A. Thanks to everyone on Twitter and Discord that submitted questions. I think I've grouped a few of them together because there were some similar ones. So if you don't see your question word for word, that's why. I have Adam with me here today, who will be my lovely interviewer.
I get to be Oprah today. I'll be the one asking all the hard-hitting questions and trying to make you cry.
Wait, are you trying to make me cry or trying to make them cry?
I don't know.
You're trying to make someone cry?
Yeah, we'll see who's teary-eyed by the end of this.
What should be you?
It would be. It would be.
Okay. Well, I don't really know how else to get this started other than getting it started.
Let's dive in.
I suppose the thing that inspired me to make New Hope was I've wanted to be a writer for like a while, and I was just kind of hitting a roadblock a little bit with it because I have my own novel that I've been working on, and that has been kind of pushed back a little bit in terms of publishing because the different publishers and agents that I've been in contact with wanted things changed in it, which I wasn't willing to compromise on at all. Mainly the LGBTQ themes. So after working on Straight with Aaron for a little bit, I kind of just decided, well, I think maybe the best way to get my writing out there is to do a VN, because at the very least that's getting my shit out there. And it seems to have worked. People like what I'm putting out. And there's been a steady growth, I guess.
Yeah, I think people enjoy what you're doing. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing a Q&A right now. So I think you've
Very true.
been on the right track.
Very true. And to the second half of that, the Apollo Studios bit, there's a lot of stories in my little coconut head. A lot of stories. A lot of ideas.
Oh, many.
Yeah. And if you're a bit like me, where you've got just all these ideas floating around, sometimes it's hard to concentrate on one project that you're working on because you're getting inspired and driven to something else. So when that happens, I don't really like to write for like New Hope because I don't want this random idea to influence the story that I've already got there, because it's already all planned out and beginning, middle, end, and I don't really want to compromise that on the whim of a random idea that's come into my head. Yeah. So the idea for Apollo Studios is to kind of create a hub of LGBTQ plus content, whether that's art sets, short stories, little mini versions of visual novels that aren't necessarily as long as something like New Hope or Straight. So that's the main idea of it, kind of just to create a home for all this content just to live and You can
All the little stories coming out of that brain.
exactly, and hopefully
Oh.
it means that you can like go on the Patreon and you're not necessarily. I'm not that into New Hope, so I don't really want to do that because it's all like superpower stuff, and I'm not into that. But there's a few other stories on there that are more feet on the ground, real life kind of stories, like Blind Date, for example.
Yeah. So there's more than one genre for people to connect with you over, which I think is brilliant. I think
Yeah,
it's a great way for people to get to know you outside of just a singular project.
yeah.
And also, y'all, if we could just imagine the world, if Blake could create as fast as he can conceptualize, the amount of stories that would be out there would be mind-boggling. Okay, so I have a branch-off question from that, because...
Oh, okay.
yeah, you actually... Something you said early on in this question triggered something for me, but... what are your favorite parts of working in a visual novel format, and what are your biggest frustrations?
I guess my favorite part is the fact that using the programs that I do, I can create a visual that I've not really been able to do before. So I have characters that I can visually see now, which,
Yeah,
I mean, if you were just a normal storyteller or writer, you only really get that if you like commission like really great artists,
illustration work,
or
yeah.
if you actually get a big publishing deal where they do all this stuff. Whereas now I can see all my characters as I imagine them.
Yeah,
But I guess on the flip side of that is that I suppose the worst part is also the fact that the artwork is kind of limiting a little bit. Because
yeah,
I am not an artist. I am not. I'm a writer. So everything that I do in like DAS and stuff like that is laborious.
yeah.
And even though I have skills in Photoshop and stuff like that, so I can manipulate things beyond what maybe another person could, it's still very limiting because I can't create all of these locations and sets and stuff like that I want to.
Yeah.
So that's why sometimes it's just better to have a written version with maybe the
Yeah.
odd CG here and there.
Yeah, kind of like guideposts to lead people through the visual moments of the story, but without limiting yourself to needing to be able to do all of the art.
Exactly. So that's where like the short stories kind of
Yeah,
peak a little bit for me because I don't have to worry about the artwork because
Yeah.
I can leave it at 3 images and
yeah,
that's enough.
I like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let me pick a second question.
Doodly 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 doo doo. I envision 10.
Okay.
Straight to the point. I envision 10. Partly because I like an even number.
Okay.
I like stories that don't necessarily go on forever. But also it makes it manageable. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not setting a limit of say 20 chapters that I've then got to script, plan, do the CG work for. It's a different ballgame if I'm just writing a normal story. I could easily whack out 20 chapters, but
Yeah.
a visual novel is so starkly different.
Yeah.
So I think 10 is a perfectly adequate number.
Okay. That one's straightforward. I am gonna steal a question from our old Q&A, actually, next. Because I'm curious, I don't think that we covered this from that perspective, but I'm curious, when you were writing New Hope, which character did you come up with first, and who was your last or hardest to come up with?
Okay, the first character I came up with was Justin.
Yeah, that
Obviously.
seems like no, it was his mom. I just know that it was his mom. She was the very first character.
Yeah. And then
So Justin was first.
Justin was first. Who was second? Ethan was second.
Yeah.
I kind of did them together at the same time.
Yeah. I can see that.
And then I think the last person was Jeremy.
Fascinating.
Because he, for a while, looked really similar to Theo. And I couldn't work out why.
Yeah.
And I actually updated a bunch of the old CGs. So basically, Jeremy and Theo used the same base model and the same skin.
Yeah.
And there was only a slight tweak in the facial features, but it meant that, say, if they wore something a little bit too similar to each other, they
look like brother or twin.
Yeah, you couldn't tell them apart. If you if you put Theo's hair on Jeremy, completely the same person. So I went back and I updated every single image with Jeremy in it, and I updated his features and his skin and his clothing, and so yeah, Jeremy would be last.
So that ties back into exactly what you were just saying, that, you know, it is laborious to create a visual novel, and the artwork is great and also limiting. And that is a prime example of it right there.
It would be. I mean, I think if someone downloaded like version 1 in comparison to version 2, there'd be a stark contrast in quality. If you looked at version 2 to version 3, again, huge contrast, because I did a 4K haul for everything, so I literally re-rendered every single image again.
It looked so good too, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then version 4 was, I had to optimize every image because the file size was getting insane. And even after optimizing all the images, it was still insane.
Yeah.
So I don't know what is going to happen for version 5, because it is shaping up to be a huge file size. So we might have to do a massive image crunch transition. I don't know, something.
He's totally laying out my workflow right now, y'all, because we render those in batches and downgrade them together. So I'm sitting here making notes about what my April's going to look like. But yeah, it is, especially like with the New Hope, you're dealing with hundreds of images. It's not just like a handful.
I will tell you right now how many images are in New Hope. So this includes current version 5 images.
Yep.
But I think there's maybe 30 that aren't in this. So let's do a quick. Okay, it helps if I press the right button, doesn't it?
It does.
So I'm trying to do this with one hand. Okay, so if I'm adding 30 to it, there are 3,001 images.
Jesus gosh. That is a lot of images.
It is, and I've probably done it to myself, to be fair, because there's probably no need for that many images. But I am a sucker for details, so when
You really are.
yeah, so when people are having conversations, I don't just like using the same like 2 or 3 images. I like showing the different moods that these characters are in with the facial expressions. So a conversation, instead of being 3 images, it'd be 30.
17. 30. Yes. Yes, you do. You do all of that. But it makes for a very, very beautiful and engaging experience.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so like I said, I am not an artist. If I can spend as little time in Daz as possible, I will. Even though it seems that I spend my life on it.
Yep.
In short, I like to use the presets because there are that many of them that we have, or that I have,
Yep.
that it kind of covers everything already. And there's no real need to do it from scratch when you can just get the base there and then tweak it as you need it.
Yeah.
It's also.
I mean, if you gave, to give context, if anybody was out there imagining this right now, Daz has done their best job to replicate every single muscle in a face. And so if you literally tried to start from scratch every time you wanted to do an emotion, you're moving the corners of the mouth, the cheeks, you're pouting the lips, you're doing every muscle in a human face. It is very, very time consuming to do it completely from scratch.
And that's how I'm pretty sure you started doing that because you didn't know that you could use the presets. So when I was saying, dude, all of your stuff looks like it's really concerning, like they look terrified, or it's like uncanny valley, like what is going on with your characters? And then it's because you were manually doing it. But if you're not a 3D modeler, which is a full-on career job in of itself, a 3D character modeler, doing it from scratch is just, there is no point.
No.
You don't get extra credit. You don't get points.
Correct. Because people are there for the story, and so if you're able to capture the emotion in a way that it looks appealing and appropriate, there's, like you say, there's no incentive for doing it, reinventing the wheel there.
Exactly. And you got to look at it as in, is it worth my time to do this? Like,
Yeah.
I have all this other stuff that I need to do. Can I really afford to sit here for an hour to 2 hours tweaking this one expression?
Yep.
You can't. You can't justify that amount of time. You get the preset and do it. And the way that I've done it is I've kind of categorized each character with different presets. So you could probably notice it the most on Theo because he's got a very specific bunch that he uses.
Yeah.
And basically no other character uses those expressions.
Yeah.
And it just kind of helps give them a bit more life and character to them.
I agree.
I'm glad you agree.
And I wouldn't say that's limited to New Hope. I would say out of all of the characters you've created in your time with Apollo Studios.
Okay. So I'd say Theo was created with a lot of me and how I used to be in mind. Which is weird to say, actually, because usually when people write a story, or like their first big thing, they kind of put themselves in the shoes of the protagonist.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that. Justin is not me at all. At all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas I very much drew on my own past experiences to birth Theo, I guess. And also the Blind Date short, the short story.
Yeah.
Dylan was very much also inspired. And I will emphasize that was very embellished. It wasn't necessarily true story. I didn't go around stomping on people's fingers and breaking them.
Yeah.
That was just for the drama of the story. Because someone genuinely asked me that. Someone genuinely asked, did you used to go around beating people up? No, I didn't go around beating people up. I grew up very angry. For seemingly no reason. But
until you met me and I taught you inner peace.
Until I met you, and yes.
No, not at all.
I mean,
I take zero credit in any improvement Blake has achieved.
It's honestly only been recently since I've kind of understood it a bit more. Because I was, you know, that I had my whole like mental breakdown issue.
Yeah.
And when I went to the doctors, they were like, "Oh yeah, no, we should probably get you tested for ADHD because you show symptoms of that." And I was like, "Oh, yeah. Really? Like, no one's ever mentioned this to me before in my life." And they were like, "Yep." So it kind of makes a lot of sense that the way I used to be was probably heavily influenced on having undiagnosed ADHD and going through puberty.
Yep.
So I'd probably say those two characters, but for right now, in the space that I am now, I'm not sure if there is a character I identify with the most.
Oh God, does that mean we get to create another one? A representation of new Blake?
Oh my God, maybe.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. I try not to put myself in these characters.
It does get a little weird when you do, because then it just, there is a little bit of a weird quality to it. But as from an audience perspective, it's fun as hell.
I may have already answered this a little bit.
Yeah.
The point of starting Patreon, the point of starting New Hope was to get my writing out there. However, if I'm just writing for a visual novel, I am then also limited in how much of my writing is out there. So I wanted to expand, and I wanted to grow, and I wanted to show the different stories that I had and the different genres that could be told. So that was the main reason. Yeah. And it was a story that I could easily draw on and bring to life, and people seem to really enjoy it.
Will you ever turn any of them into visual novels, was another question.
That is a good question. I'm going to say never, but there aren't any plans to do so. Well, I say that. When was it? It was before Christmas, actually, and the plan was to do a...
Oh, yeah, I know where you're going.
Yeah.
Yep.
The plan was to do a Blind Date special. Kind of like the Christmas special. However, due to technical issues everything got lost. And it was very, very, very close to Christmas. And I'd already said that I was going to be doing something. So that kind of put a spanner in the works a little bit. But that's why I re-released the Christmas special with the not safe for work elements to it, because the bones were already there, and I think I might have pissed everyone off the year before that they didn't get it to anything jiggy.
You blue-balled the entire audience.
Yeah.
After showing Justin and all these quiet, intimate moments with everybody.
So I gave the people what they wanted.
Since the bones were there, you added the boners too.
Wow. Yes. Yes.
Spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't played New Hope. Justin has this secret of his powers. He has this secret that he's trying to keep from everybody, that he's gay. But he also kind of has this secret with his songbook and his songwriting and his love of that. And I'm curious if anything specific inspired you to add that element to his character.
Yeah. So I think when you've got these secrets that you're struggling with and you can't tell anyone, you try and find an outlet for them, so they're not just in your head racking around.
Yeah.
A lot of people write diaries. Some people find strangers online and talk to them. Originally, it was a diary. Okay. But I felt that was boring.
Justin, you're boring. I need you to come up with a different outlet.
Yeah. So I decided, it'd be nice if he could sing. And it'd be nice if he could get out these feelings and emotions in a way that isn't just angrily writing in a book. It's thoughtful lyrics.
Yeah.
And truthfully, the original idea was that if I ever got to a point where I want to add voices and like proper voice work to New Hope, that I could then have a bunch of original music that goes in there as well.
Well, son of a bitch, you just segued into another question. If you could have music in your games, what would it be like? Genre, style, etc.
So I think for New Hope,
country western all the way.
Mm-hmm. I'd probably say a bit of indie pop.
Okay.
With kind of acoustic vibes, not necessarily country, but not straight up pop.
Yeah.
That's for the more kind of like calm, like everyday kind of scenes.
Yeah.
But for the more meaningful, intense moments, I'm not sure if it's an actual genre, but like epic pop or like cinematic pop, where you take like a well-known mainstream song and you just fucking nut the shit out of it with like proper orchestral music, like epic vocals. Like, tell you what, I'm gonna drop. Should I do a playlist? Should I drop a YouTube playlist of like all of the music that I listen to that helps me write and inspires me to write different scenes?
Well, you totally could. You could put it on your Patreon, or there's so many ways you could share this with the world.
I'm gonna do that. I'll put together a playlist and I will share it somehow. and so you guys can kind of get an idea of the different vibes.
The different moods of Blake as he writes.
Yeah.
I want to tune into that too, because I would be curious to know what I've listened to music that you've shared with me, but if I had an idea of what kind of music you were listening to at a specific time when you were creating, I think would be really, really interesting.
I would probably say Heartstopper is a great one, just because it's
so cute.
It's cute and innocent, and it's kind of everything that you want as a gay kid growing up that you never really had.
It's literally just another silly crush.
It's not a crush.
Hi.
I also like what's it called? The Netflix one. Young Royals.
Oh, I've heard about Young Royals, but I haven't watched it.
It's really good. It's I'm not sure which country it's from, but all of the you can either watch it with subtitles or you can watch it dubbed, and all of the actors dubbed it in English, so it's not a weird contrast where the voice doesn't match the face or anything like that, because it is their voice.
I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Det med, jag vet inte hur jag ska känna liksom.
Got my hands on my body. No one can stop me. Knowing you don't need nobody. Don't need nobody.
Honestly, lately I have been really getting into what's it called? GMMTV on YouTube, which is a Thai television company, I suppose. But it's really weird because they have all of these shows which are LGBT. They're just like really cute, really innocent, and it's frustrating that we are only just starting to get to this point over in the West.
Yeah. I totally had not heard of this, and I'm now furiously Googling.
But they've got like so many cute TV shows on there. Like, I think, I'm not sure which countries you can watch the shows in on YouTube, because I think if you're in Thailand you won't be able to watch it because it's a TV broadcast. I think they only put it out for other countries on YouTube.
Okay.
But which one have I been watching? Recently I watched Moonlight Chicken, it's called. Which is Moonlight Chicken, which is a funny name actually, but it's really cute.
It is a very funny name.
One of the characters is deaf.
Okay.
And the other kind of like, they kind of meet in like a bit of like a tense scenario, and then they slowly kind of like become friends, and he learns how to sign because the other guy's family doesn't really learn and feel like ashamed that he's deaf and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they kind of like grow the relationship that way, and it was kind of cute because it's what I've been saying essentially, that we need more shows and films and stories that aren't just the negative of the LGBT experience. it's awesome that their story is two friends, one's deaf, the other's trying to learn sign language, and it's finding a way that they can communicate with each other. Like, we need more stories like that. More stories that just go beyond what the mainstream expect LGBT to be.
Yeah.
Short answer, no. Straight is Aaron's baby, not mine. I just helped with some of the planning and writing. So I think he would probably curse me out if I said, yes, Zack and Braden exist in this same world where superpowers exist. They just have no idea about it.
Yeah, that would probably be overstepping just a touch.
Just a touch. So yeah, no, they do not exist in the same world. No. My short answer is no.
Okay.
However, I'm not opposed to doing crossover like work on Patreon, which is like AU stuff. So it doesn't matter. It's just for fun.
Yeah. Okay. But follow-up question. If they all did exist in the same universe, what would the dynamic be like, do you think? That's a very broad question also.
It is a very broad question. Okay, so are we bringing them into the New Hope universe, or bringing them into just a bog standard? They all exist in an everyday Earth.
How would you like to imagine it? Since it's the question asked for you, leave that up to you. But I mean, it doesn't really matter if they exist and don't know about each other. Then there's not really much of a question. So
okay, let's assume that they're all kind of like living in the same town, but it isn't the Spring Creek as we know it. I'd say for sure Rachel and Ivy would be best mates.
Yeah.
They'd get on like a house on fire.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Does that mean bad? If you get on like a house on fire, does that mean you don't get on, or you do get on? Whichever. Okay, it doesn't matter. They get on. They like each other.
They're fine. They get along well. It's great.
I think Ethan and Ty would get on.
Yeah.
I think they'd have a lot of fun with each other. I don't necessarily see Theo getting on with many of the other characters.
Because he's Theo.
He could probably be amused by Ty.
Yeah. I think most people would be amused by Ty.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a controversial statement.
No. And honestly, I don't think Theo would have much of a aversion to Nyx either.
Yeah, I could see that.
Nyx is adorable, he's cute, he doesn't really harm anyone, he's just living his best life.
Okay, so though, what about our neighborhood friendly ghost, Gabe? Who do you think he would have the most fun following around if he could follow anybody in your universe?
I mean, he'd probably have a lot of fun following around anyone that was romantically inclined towards Justin, just for the pure drama of the will they, won't they, fucking kiss already.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
That would definitely provide him with some entertainment.
It's like TV.
Yeah. Poor Gabe. It's hard for him to watch TV. So he needs to be in that universe so that he can be entertained.
He does. But I think if he was not dead and alive,
yeah,
I think he would probably really get on as like in a group with Rachel, Ivy, and Kendall.
Yeah.
I think those four would get up to lots of mischief together.
Oh, I could see that. For sure. For sure. And Jeremy has shown he's kind of mischievous in his own way, too. I think that he would
Yes.
get along with Gabe.
I think Jeremy would get along with Gabe. I don't think would he get along with Ty?
That is a good question.
Ty might just be a little bit too much for Jeremy.
Oh, breaking my heart over here. Somebody who might not like Ty.
Oh, I think, you know what though? I think if I put Eel in the group with Gabe and the girls,
Yeah.
that's a good group there.
Jesus Christ, I want to see some of these interactions now. We're totally going to have to, like, buckle down and do some AU crossover shit at some point.
Okay, so I'll start with the first bit.
Okay.
Justin's power it's basically a metaphor for his homosexuality.
Ooh, wait, I totally want to interrupt here and ask you something on myself.
Okay.
Because I have my own theory about this, but did you come up with Justin's power first, or did you come up with Theo's power first? Because in my mind, I'm thinking you probably came up with Theo's power first.
No, I came up with Justin's first.
Oh my god, that actually shocks me.
Yeah.
Being the inner pyromaniac that you are, I would assume that like you're just like, damn, bam, giving this character some fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, continue. Sorry.
So Justin's power is literally a metaphor for his sexuality and homosexuality. Because it is... I wanted to go with something that he could hide, but
Yeah.
not control and not
Yeah.
keep hidden.
And there's a fear component there because his power is one that can actually like physically do damage. So
Yeah. And
like he has incentive to be afraid and want to hide that.
yeah, and the side to that is if you keep this inside, if you know that you are gay, lesbian, trans, or other, and you are keeping this inside, and you are letting it just fester and turn into something that completely warps and changes your perspective and reality, I suppose. It can do real damage, not just to you, but to the people around you as well, because
Yeah.
they can see that you are not how you usually are, and that you are changing, and not necessarily for the better, because you're not changing in a way which is becoming your true authentic self. You're changing in a way which is purposefully trying to hide that. For Justin, in the sense of he's hiding it because it could hurt someone physically.
Yep.
When you're kind of in that situation where you're not sure if you want to come out, part of it is because you don't want to disappoint, you don't want to hurt your family, your friends.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the manifestation of that, in that he physically thinks that he will harm someone the same way that you might think that you physically might harm someone if you come out, whether that be, or my parents aren't going to accept me and they're going to kick me out, and that's like real physical life damage that's happening.
Yeah.
So that's where that kind of power drew from. Theo's was an easy one to go for because what do you give a hot-headed hot boy as a superpower? You give him fire. Ethan's was a little bit more tricky.
And see, I fucking love it. The reveal about Ethan
Yeah.
actually surprised me in a way that I was so, like, excited about.
Yeah. So he originally had a totally different power. There were CGs and everything for it,
Oh my god.
but at last minute I thought, I don't think I want to go down that route, and I went and veered slightly off course a little bit.
Is it a power that you're going to give somebody else, or can you tell us what it was originally going to be?
I can tell you.
Okay.
Because some of the dialogue, I believe, is still there to kind of insinuate.
Okay.
He originally had a shape-shifting power,
Oh.
and he would take on different attributes from different animals. So he would like get like sharp nails on his hands, like claws.
Yeah.
He had like little fox ears that popped up. But yeah, in the big reveal, what it was originally was he would essentially spread out his wings.
Okay.
And the idea behind that was that I wanted it to kind of be like a chameleon of sorts, like trying to flip between the different social crowds as if to like
Yeah.
be with everyone
Yeah.
and not be discovered, essentially, because he's also struggling with a bunch of stuff internally
Yeah.
as well. But I changed it, and I wanted instead to go the opposite of Justin.
Yeah.
So instead of something that pushes away, it's something that draws people in.
I like it a lot.
But in doing so, it then kind of brings forth this weird duality of, are people close to me because they like me, or are they close to me because of this thing I can't control?
Yeah. I like that element. I think it adds a lot to his character, and I think it just fit so well.
Yeah. So I'm happy I made that change, but please, if you are listening and you are angry that I did not give you a cat boy, do not hunt me down, please.
Oh god, don't anger the Catboy enthusiast. Might have to edit this whole damn stream so that we don't
I
get
know.
hate mail.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where I'm going to leave it for, like, kind of like conceptualizing the powers and stuff. In terms of if that's everyone that does have powers, sure, why not? I'll give you a spoiler. No, that isn't everyone. No, it's
Such a
not.
tease. Such a tease.
It is not everyone, and I'm not going to tell you who the other people are. Although I did just say people and not person. So
You better
that's
shut
two-
your mouth before you spoil the rest of it.
That's 2 spoilers in one. Great, okay.
But now we get to wildly speculate.
Yep. Okay, next question. Before I ruin
Okay,
anything else.
Before you ruin everything else.
Oh, I have loads of ideas that I want to work on and explore, but I feel like the world of New Hope is only just beginning.
Yeah.
Even with just this 10 chapter visual novel, there is a lot more that can be explored and a lot more that can be done. And not even necessarily with just these characters. But again, I don't want to say too much because I will ruin everything.
Yep. You're going to end up spoiling it, and people are going to know that you are totally going to do a spin-off with Jeremy's history teacher. Like,
Oh, fuck that history teacher. Fuck that history teacher.
I'm ready to see her full story, damn it. Give us the backstory. Show us why she became such a bitch.
Oh, she was born a bitch.
Okay, so the world of New Hope has lots of potential.
It
We're
does.
only at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. If money was not an object at all, and I got to see it through, I would genuinely love to do a TV show.
Yep.
It doesn't even have to be a TV show. It could literally just be a show that gets put out on YouTube. Because how many stuff is now just online?
Yeah.
Like, people, it doesn't even get released on TV anymore. Like, Amazon Prime or like Netflix, like all that's just streaming services. Like, it doesn't come from a TV network.
Yeah.
So that.
For what it's worth to everybody listening, I have already said that I would greenlight the production costs for his TV show if I win the lottery. So can you all just go ahead and wish that for me? I'll give you your dream. I'm more than happy to give you the reins of a show because I think it would be badass.
Look, I tweeted about it the other day about
Yeah.
just jokingly, like, oh, how much would it cost? And then I got like loads of like DMs and stuff being like, oh, well, I can act in it, or like stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, thank you. I'm not doing it though right now, and I'm pretty sure you live in the States as well, or halfway across the world, and I ain't paying flight for you to come over here and act in a little.
I will fly over there, bitch. Give me a cameo. I'll pour somebody's coffee in the background.
But yeah, that is what I would do.
Yeah, I totally don't blame you. I think it would be fun, and we're going to make that dream happen. I just need to come up with millions of dollars first.
I genuinely do not know. I was expecting a lot more sex questions, to be fair. And even though people did put them in, they did get asked. I didn't add them to the list because I'm trying to.
You did.
I am trying to be
blush.
professional.
Oh my god.
I am being a professional, creative, and yeah. But if you really wanted me to answer those sexual questions, you can DM them to me and I will answer them.
Oh my god, that's an open invitation right there.
My DMs are always open. I don't always reply because they get like lost in the sea of DMs that I get.
Oh my god, is that why you leave me on red all the time?
No, you just annoy me.
I'm kidding. You're just here to break my heart today.
I love you, really.
I love you too. Okay, fine. So we didn't get some big scandalous answer to that one.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god, you are not.
I am.
Okay. Well, then that brings us to the final question. Bum bum bum.
Bum, 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 bum. I think I'm gonna retire, you know.
Yeah. I
Call
don't
it a
see
day.
why not.
Call it a day.
Yeah.
No, okay, so this is probably
Okay, to be fair,
Yeah.
I just got, like 75 years from now, when your ass is in a nursing home, you're still going to be like doing flow charts of storyboards and things. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you will ever know how to retire.
No.
Gonna throw that out there.
No. So this is I don't know how to answer this one really.
Use your word.
Well, duh. So, if you follow me on Twitter or if you're in the Discord, you might know that the past few months have just been not that great for me. I've had several issues with my full-time job, just it not being a good fit, I suppose, would be the right words. And
I think that's fair.
yeah, and it's just meant that the amount of work that I've been having to do has just taken a severe toll on my mental health and thus on the production capabilities of what I've been able to put out on Patreon and for New Hope and stuff like that. So I have made the decision that I will be leaving my full-time job sometime soon. I will probably do a full announcement when that time comes, but it is in the interim. It isn't going to be something that is like months and months and months down the line. It is going to come fairly soon. And the plan is to pick this up full time, because I'm at a point with it where, for the most part, it can cover bills. I will have to pick up a bit of part-time work here and there just to kind of like bump stuff up. But if, with all the free time that I have, or that I should have, it means that I can put out more, I can work on things full time, and I'm not having to get home at 5 o'clock and then do all the house chores, and then it gets to like 8 p.m. and then spend 8 till 12 o'clock at night trying to fit in as much as I can. It means that I can have a solid
like
work day.
Generous. Like, I have found you awake at like 3 and 4 a.m. still trying to finish those final renders, and
it's not a healthy work pattern at all, and it is probably accommodated to my recent, I keep saying breakdown, but it probably was a full-on mental health like crisis.
I think it's fair for you to define it however you want to define it, but regardless, it was a severe mental health challenge for you at the very least.
100%. So I've kind of reached the point now where I don't want to live my life working for something that I don't necessarily find fulfilling or I find fun. And ultimately, that's what life should be. You should be doing things that are fun and that bring you joy. If you're not doing that, then are you really living? And I get that you've got to think about bills and you've got to think about how you're going to pay rent this month or pay to eat and stuff like that. But you need to find a way to get to the point of, I enjoy what I do for work. I enjoy how my life is going.
Yeah.
And for me at the moment, I'm not enjoying it. And I don't want to get to the age of 40 and have all of these unpublished works and stories still in my head, because then I feel like I have failed. And
you were never going to be a failure, but still,
I want to put my work out there. I want people to read my stuff, and not because I think my stuff is amazing, but because I think that I think my stuff is amazing.
It is amazing. Like let's stop bullshitting. It is amazing.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. No, I want people to be able to connect with and have this place that they can go to where there's a good solid community and a good solid chunk of art and stories that they can consume and enjoy, and I don't think there is really anywhere like that yet, or not that I've found, that feels wholly accepting of everyone.
And I want that. I'm so excited for you to get to a more balanced place so that you can enjoy life more and so that your creativity can thrive. And I am so here for it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, I do think that you are majorly succeeding at building a fun and welcoming community where people do get to interact and be themselves and find new friends and relate to all of these different stories that you're putting out into the world. And it's like you said at the beginning of this, I think the fact that you've allowed yourself to diversify and start telling some of these other stories in your head, I think there are works there that almost anybody can find appealing and find themselves in. And I think it's wonderful. I'm so here for all of it.
Thank you. I am also here for it because it's exciting.
It is exciting. Woo!
It's really exciting. It's scary. Don't get me wrong. Like, quitting a full-time job to start something like this is scary.
Yeah.
But if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it?
You're doing it now, bitch.
Exactly. So I think that wraps us up, doesn't it?
I think so. I am out of questions unless you want to give some magical speech here at the end to inspire everybody.
Live your life how you want to live it. That's all I can say.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Love it.